Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm not with you in person this morning. As you can see, I'm in the office, hence the reason for these silly headphones, or at least I'll be in the office by the time you guys are listening to this video, like I am right now as I'm recording it. I just wanted to bring to you a few messages for the day, but first, a little bit of inspiration. I want to read you this quote. Every morning, I ask Alexa to share with me a quote. And first, she shares with me a message from a fabulous podcast that I highly recommend called Everyday Positivity. And you can find that on Spotify or Alexa, or I think even Google does it. Really cool. 2 minutes of positivity every morning. But then she shares with me the quote of the day. And this one was from the other day, and it really touched me. So I thought I'd share it with you. This is a quote from David Beckham. Impossible is just a big word thrown around by small men who find it easier to live in the world that they've been given than to explore the power they have to change it. Impossible is not a fact, it's an opinion. Impossible is not a declaration, it's a dare. Impossible is potential. Impossible is temporary. Impossible is nothing. And one of my favorite things to do with that word is add an apostrophe. If you add an apostrophe after the I, it becomes I'm possible rather than impossible. So you can do the same for you. Anyways, here's a little bit of motivation to kick off your day. I love stuff like that. But I wanted to share just a few tips from Toastmasters with you today that I think you can just use and take into your everyday. We've talked about some of them quite a bit, so it's not going to be anything new, but just a friendly reminder. And if anybody's interested in just enhancing their speaking skills, I can't recommend Toastmasters enough. It is just an incredible group. It made a huge difference to me when I joined it years ago. Even if you're not a public speaker, you guys are on the phone. That's literally your job, speaking. It doesn't have to be to large audiences. And these tips can be used across the board for everybody. So you can go to toastmasters.com and look up a lot more, look up their YouTube videos, or just Google them. There's a lot of tips. And I'm going to share a link with you to like 90 of their top tips. Some of them will be irrelevant to what you do, but most of them are really applicable. So just a few of the top tips are: know your material. You have your script. If you practice it, you won't have to do as much reading of it. And I know you'll still kind of follow it along, but once you know it and you're comfortable, it'll sound like it's your own words a little bit more than when you're new and have to literally read every line. So know your material, practice it. In fact, personally, I would recommend just making a video like this. It could be with your phone and then listening to it over and over, the recording of yourself. Record again after you've done a little more practice. And even if you're not new, you might be surprised what you find if you listen to yourself. And it doesn't have to be the script, it can be anything, but listen to yourself as you're reading. And I think you'll notice some of your own quirks as you listen, even if you've been doing this a long time. I shared a few of those with you recently. Like I had somebody tell me that when I stand still, I tend to rock. Now that someone told me that, I'm really aware of it. One of the biggest things that I learned, and I've shared with you all when I first joined Toastmasters, was filler words. Be really mindful of how many times you're saying, like, and the biggest time we do that is when we're looking for something or having to search for something. So maybe when somebody is calling and you can't help them, I know you guys have said that there's other information, you can refer them to someone else and you may have to look up that information. While you're searching for information or taking notes, or anytime you're not actively speaking, it's okay to be quiet for a few seconds. We don't have to fill in all the space with, and I'll tell you, I had a experience of this morning where I had to call and I had to make just a doctor appointment. And it was so frustrating because I got some random call center person who didn't seem to speak really good English to begin with. And so I had to repeat things 100 times. But as he was looking up to find answers and to find the location that I wanted and every little thing, he was like, okay, yeah. And another thing is, as he was reading through trying to find the right answers, I like to put in codes or whatever for what type of appointment I was calling for. He was mumbling as he was like reading out loud under his breath, like, oh, no, this isn't it. No, don't do that. And I don't assume that you guys do. I don't get that impression. but it was frustrating. And then the long yep, okay, hold on, yep. He was just trying to fill in the space while he, searched rather than just leaving me in silence. So don't just be mindful of the filler words, but be mindful of how you fill any silent space. Sometimes you might be, even tapping or clicking your pen while you're waiting for something, and that can annoy the, daylights out of the person next to you or on the phone. So just really be mindful of how you fill in that space. Some of the other things that Toastmasters says, though, is pace yourself. And that's a really big one. When you're reading a script, it's easy to almost skip the periods. But if you see a period at the end of a sentence, pause. And I don't mean pause like that long of a pause, but just take a breath. Don't go right into, good morning, Goldman and Associates. This is April. How can I help you? Tell me, like, good morning, good morning. Thank you for calling Goldman and Associates. This is April speaking. Those little pauses, and I don't know if those are the right words. I don't have the script in front of me, but those little pauses allow people to take in what you just said. Just a breath in between sentences. It doesn't have to be a long pause, like I said, but allow them to go, wait, what did you just say? And if somebody's talking really fast, most people will only hear like every third word. So just take a breath, pace yourself, don't rush. And when you see a period at the end of a sentence, know that that's an end of a sentence. Give them just a pause, just a breath. Some of the other Toastmaster tips are arrive early. Now, for you guys, I know you're working from home, or most of you are anyways, I think. Allow yourself just to be ready when you sit down, rather than having to sit down and jump right on the first call. Allow yourself to just begin the preparation a little bit early. Without that rush, you'll be so much more focused and able to deliver in a better way, a more confident way. And that may even mean setting yourself up the night before. When you're done at the end of the day, take 5 minutes and just prepare your space to be able to sit down and start the next day. Pace yourself. Arrive early. Relax. If you need to, in between calls, or even just when you're getting ready to start the first call, if you rush, just take a breath. Maybe just stretch a little bit, roll your shoulders, stand up, allow yourself just to shake it out after that funky call you may have had, or the rush that you may have had, whatever it is. Just allow yourself to relax in whatever way is most meaningful. And of course, smile. I say that all the time, and that's another big Toastmasters tip. Smile. And one of the ways you can really think about that, because I know you're trying to get all the information and you're focusing and you're probably typing into the computer and listening and asking questions, and there's not a person in front of you or a video screen like when we're on Zoom. So you're not as mindful of smiling. But one of the ways you can do that is just kind of to be actively participating in the call. Nod your head when they say something. If they, I don't know, a lot of times when people are nervous or vulnerable, they joke. So you can kind of laugh with them. Or if you're feeling empathetic to them, just allow yourself just to feel that for a second. And then just come back and almost visualize yourself helping. Visualize them getting the help. Allow yourself to be comforting. And that can bring that smile back. And I've shared many times, put something in front of you, a sticky note, a picture, whatever, that makes you smile. I mean, right on the edge of your computer, you can have a picture of something that makes you smile or someone, and that can be the trigger, even if you're not tuning into the emotions of the people, right? The other thing is sit up. Again, without somebody in front of you in person or on camera, it's easy to like lean back, scrunch over, just have that posture. But when you're up, when you're sitting up, you're more confident, your blood is literally flowing differently, your brain is balanced, and you're able to sound more confident and sound more present with the person on the phone. Or as Toastmasters would say, with the people you're speaking to in front of you. Avoid rushing also. Again, when I said pace yourself, same thing, but don't just avoid making your words too fast, but even rushing someone else. And I know you can't let them go into their story, but there's a way to just simply say, I hear you. Let me get the rest of the details. And then maybe just let them finish their word. And doing things like using their name often is really important. hey, April, would it be okay if I put you on a brief hold? And then when you come back, hi, April, are you still there? Great, thank you for holding. Those are big things, and really listen. That's the avoiding rushing. Really listen when they're talking. Reconfirm spelling if you're unsure, or repeat back something you said, that they said, so that they know you heard it if you need to, like the address or the phone number. But also let them answer. Like if you say, can I put you on a brief hold? Let them say yes, and then say, thank you, I'll be right back. By giving them that attention, they're going to feel seen and heard. Let them answer. Avoid rushing them. Again, I know you can't let them go into a story, but give them the respect of being able to be heard. Hi, thank you for holding. Are you still there? Yes, wonderful. And keep going. And of course, avoid speaking monotone. And also, though, sometimes when I say that, people want to go, hi, hello, this is April. Well, you don't have to sound, like you're on the roller coaster, having the time of your life, but just allow yourself to be in conversation. And that's why I'd like to go back to the beginning about know your material. The better you know the script, the less likely you are to sound like you're just reading it like a robot. And if you can sound like you're having a conversation, like you're simply a friend that they called for some help, you're going to sound more compassionate, and you're going to sound more personable. And that person is going to be able to hear you a little bit different than if you're speaking in a monotone voice, just trying to get the answers that they need and rushing them through everything and not taking any pauses between sentences. Whew, I need a breath after that. But hopefully you get my point. So again, there's so many really cool Toastmasters tips. I hope that some of this has been valuable, at least a good reminder. I'll post those in the chat so you can go through and read an article of 90 different tips, and they're real short, but they're really helpful. And you may find a lot more than what I shared with you, maybe something that sticks out to you, but just really consider, know your material. Practice makes progress. Record it, listen to yourself, pace yourself, be ready, arrive early, take a deep breath, relax, stretch when you need to, smile, be personable, sit up, be confident. You're helping people. You're changing the world. You are making the difference in the lives of people who are hurting. Your job may seem insignificant on some days, but you are amazing. And I am really just honored to work with you all, because you're heroes in people's minds as you pick up those calls and you connect them to somebody who can help them through what may be the hardest time of their life. You're that voice that comforted them, that greeted them, that welcomed them into a safe place. So anyways, you are awesome. And I just hope you have a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you next week. Make it a great day.